Hi, it's Dorothy Tannahill-Moran, certified sound therapist. Have you ever been in a sound bath or any form of sound healing and just the whole thing just hit you wrong? It just sounded wrong and in fact just kind of felt uncomfortable in your body. Well, there's an explanation for that. And chances are it had nothing to do with the sound healer or the tools, sound instruments that they were using. But let me do a brief explanation of when and how it could be the individual, the sound healer, and the instruments, because there's probably a bigger chance that there's a different explanation other than the sound healer and the instruments that they were using. If it's the instruments, chances are it was played too loud and too intensely. I've been in that situation, especially with crystal singing bowls. They're intense to begin with, and if the person using them doesn't know how to soften those up, it can really get to you, and it has with me. And the other thing, of course, is the individual, their energy. If their energy just does not set right with you, of course, that's an issue as well. I believe that both of those situations that I'm talking about are a rarer occasion than the explanation I'm going to give to you. What I have noticed on those very rare occasions when a person has really said it just kind of hits a sour note is there is issues in their body, and there is, I'll just say, a lack of resonance as a result. Now, this sort of thing happens when you've got an issue in your body. Your body is going to be out of resonance with one or more frequencies in the sound bath. And so as a result, it could sound kind of strange. I can tell you when I do individual sound therapy, that takes place with one or more frequencies until a person gets back into resonance or gets back into balance. And usually in less than 30 minutes, which is what the average sound bath and sound treatment is, that sounds start shifting because the individuals start shifting. And usually that's the case in a sound bath. So I've had people say, yeah, at first it was uncomfortable. At first it sounded weird, but eventually the whole thing started mellowing out and sounded great and very resonant, and it was very comfortable for me. That's because their body started getting in resonance with the frequencies and vibration and started getting into balance. But when that does not happen and a person is going, okay, the whole thing just didn't work for me, that's because they did not get into balance. And sometimes that happens. So it has nothing to do with the instruments, has nothing to do with the sound healer, has everything to do with the fact that their body is still unbalanced and still not in resonance. So if that happens to be you, don't run as fast as you can away from that situation and that sound healer. But in fact, what you want to do is to triage yourself, okay? And here's what my suggestion is. Start taking sound healing in smaller doses. In other words, average sound bath is about a half hour. Some people do it a little shorter. A few people do it longer. But this is where you want to start taking it in smaller doses, like 5 minutes and at a shot, and get your body used to and start shedding whatever the imbalances and the lack of resonance is that's taking place in your body, and then start upping the amount of time that you're taking in sound frequencies. Now, I've got a lot of different frequency sound baths on this channel. So I'd suggest experimenting around with them. And quite frankly, the ones that sound the worst to you are the ones you need to spend the most time with, because that means those are the ones that you're out of resonance or out of balance with, okay? So spend less time, but just keep at it until you finally find yourself in resonance. Because we are a little bit like an onion. You have to peel one layer at a time. Just do it in smaller doses, but be consistent until finally you reach that moment where you're going, okay, this is now starting to sound pretty good. Then up the amount so you can continue to work through whatever imbalance issues are taking place. Because our energetic body is a reflection of our physical and mental and emotional body and vice versa. So even if you haven't had a manifestation of anything physically, emotionally, or mentally, it will. And I've had plenty of that take place with people as well, and vice versa. So if sound healing is hitting a bad note, there's a reason for that. So don't avoid it. Just take it as a message that there's something out of balance in your body. Now, before we go, subscribe to this channel, because as I mentioned earlier, I've got a number of frequency sound baths here, all different sorts and kind. They're all great for you, but they all serve different purposes. And if you subscribe, you'll get notified of new ones that I put up, which happens several times during the week. The other thing is to go to my website, because I've got sound therapy and sound healing all over that place. And so go there. It's rsaurras.com, where I've got all kinds of goodies there. So there you go. High vibrations, lots of love. Take care.